What's up guys, Alex Chasen back here with a brand new video. Hopefully great day tonight, every guys on this world. And today's video is going to be my NBA shooting guard tier list. I did the NBA point guard tier list last week. I want to do one about every week. Sorry I did not upload yesterday like I usually do on Tuesday. I was at camp all day. I work at a camp during the day, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I had to go to basketball practice all the way down in Providence where my school is. And I got home. It was 8:30 at night. I was beat. Fell right asleep, had dinner, blah, 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 fell asleep. But anyways, I'm here, and since I missed yesterday, I'm gonna go 5 days of uploads. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 5 days, because I missed Tuesday. Sorry about that. Anyways, hope you guys do enjoy this video, my NBA shooting guard tier list. Keep up the great support, guys. We've gained so many subscribers. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. And we'll keep growing this channel. And hope you guys do enjoy the video. And let's go. You can see our first guy, former Boston Celtic himself, Avery Bradley. He's one of those guys that can make the open shot. You know, he's a good mid-range shooter. He's never really developed a crazy three-point shot. I mean, he's solid from the corner, but he is one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. With that being said, though, he is a D-tier shooting guard. He's kind of fell off a little bit. He did just sign a 2-year, $9.7 million contract with the Lakers. I think that's a fantastic pickup for the Lakers. You know, he get that defense and all of that scoring off the bench. So I think that's a really solid pickup for the Los Angeles Lakers right here. R.I.P. Lonzo Ball. And next we have Bradley Beal. So, by the way, this is purely based off talent, not achievements, not anything, no accolades at all. This is purely based off talent. Because if it was based off accolades and achievements, Bradley Beal would be around a D-tier player because he hasn't really done much with his career when it comes to the accolades and achievements. But it's not about that. It's just about talent. And talent-wise, he is an A-tier shooting guard. One of the best at his craft. There's really not many players better than him at shooting guard, except obviously the GOAT at shooting guard in this league, James Harden. And since we're just talking about James Harden, I'll just put James Harden as the A-tier shooting guard. We know what he's about. Former MVP, 36 points a game this season, absolute monster. You know all about him. He's the A-tier shooting guard. I'll make corrections at the end of the video if I think anything should be switched. Then we have Brendan Forbes. I kind of forget his name. I'm not a huge Spurs watcher. I only watch whenever they play the Celtics. And he's a solid NBA player. He came out last year when DeJounte Murray was hurt. He came a little bit him and White, but he kind of helped. And he's a solid shooting guard in this league. But with that being said, he's a D-tier shooting guard. He still has a lot of room to develop. I think he was like more than a 1-year college player, but he still has a lot of room to develop. And don't know a ton about him, but what I've seen, he's a D-tier shooting guard. Next, we have Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield has finally blossomed into that solid NBA player we knew he was. He's still young, so maybe he could be an all-star in the next few years. Personally, I believe he has the potential to be a 1 or 2-time all-star in his career. He really showed last year that he can really score the ball and be one of the best three-point shooters on a really solid young team. With that being said, Buddy Hield, you have earned your spot as a B-tier shooting guard. I think in the next few years, if he keeps going on this track and gets up to 20-plus points a game, he'll be an A-tier shooting guard in this league. Then we have, speaking of an A-tier shooting guard, we have C.J. McCollum, who had a fantastic playoff run, and he is one of the best at his craft as well, with Bradley Beal, James Harden, and CJ. One thing I love about these tiers, you don't say who's better. Obviously, James Harden's the best shooting guard in the league, but after that, I'm not talking because it's going to be very controversial. I'm not trying to go that route. That's why I'm doing these tiers, not making a whole top 50 NBA players list, because I'm not trying to make that controversy. If you want me to make a top 50 NBA players list, I'll make it before the NBA season starts, and we'll get that controversy and that pot stirring up. But as right now, we're just doing these tier lists. And then we have another A-tier shooting guard with Victor Oladipo. Sadly, he got hurt last year, so we couldn't really see what his next steps were going to be. But what we did see last year and the year before, when he left OKC, he finally blossomed into that really, really good NBA starting caliber shooting guard we knew he was capable of. He just had to leave Orlando, leave the Thunder, and get to the right situation with the Indiana Pacers. Next, another guy who might end up wanting to be traded to get to a contending team or get with a good team. But as of right now, I think they're on a good track with the Suns. Yes, they're young and their talent isn't super developed. They traded Josh Jackson, blah, 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 blah. But him and DeAndre Ayton, yes, they did trade TJ Warren as well, so I'm not sure what their focus is. But going back to him and DeAndre Ayton, two solid, looking like superstars coming up in this league, especially here with Devin Booker, who has been snubbed by the All-Stars for years now. He is an A-tier shooting guard. Yes, like I said, this is not based off accolades or anything, based off talent. Also, I'll make adjustments at the end. So if I think someone doesn't deserve to be an A, because we have a lot of A tiers right now, I'll move them down, so on and so forth. Next, we have Damian Dotson. He's a solid young shooting guard. Nothing special, nothing bad. Definitely not an F tier. He's a D tier shooting guard. Nope, not F, D. And then we do have Danny Green, who had a really solid playoff run, especially in the NBA Finals. He's getting older now, but he's still going to give you that three-point shot and do fantastic things on the defensive end. He's a super, super, super fantastic perimeter defender. With that being said, though, he's still just a D-tier shooting guard. He's not going to give you 20-plus points a night. He'll be there for the few three-pointers Kawhi kicked out to him or Kyle Lowry, but he'll really kill it on the defensive side. Kind of like an Avery Bradley, who's also in that D-tier with him. Then we have Donovan Mitchell, another A-tier shooting guard. It's crazy how many really good shooting guards there are in the NBA. One thing I've noticed, unless I'm blind, I do not see Klay Thompson on this list. Oh, yes, I do see Klay Thompson. He's down there. But yeah, so there's a lot of really talented shooting guards in this league. Next, we have Dion Waiters. Dion Waiters is kind of funny. I put him at C tier. He's one of those guys that you wouldn't be surprised if he dropped 20-plus points a night, or if he got like 10 or not even 10 points, because he's so inconsistent. You never know when he'll get hurt. So that's why I put him in a C tier. If he ever gets to the potential he's at, I know he's getting older. If he ever did get the potential, he'd probably be a B tier shooting guard with Buddy Hield, but you never know what he's going to drop at night. Another guy like that's Evan Fournier, who's still younger, so he might bump up and end up being more consistent, but he's not the most consistent player right now. Do not look up his last name, Fournier. I know I'm telling you this, so you're going to pause the video and look it up, but don't pause the video. Wait till the end of the video to do that, because I'm not trying you guys to come back and be all sick, because it's nasty if you look up his last name, so I'm warning you, don't do it. I made that mistake too many times. And then we have Gary Harris here, another guy who's super young, but he had actually a really fantastic playoffs. I will put him in a B tier shooting guard. I don't think he's quite an A tier yet. I think he has a few more steps to take. He's like a B minus though. He could be C, but if I'm looking at it, he's definitely better than Waiters and he's definitely better than Fournier. So I'll put him at a B minus, but Buddy Hield, I'll give you the edge, brother. And then we do have my boy Jaylen Brown. Non-biased, I gotta do what's right for him. Jaylen Brown's a C-tier shooting guard. He's not quite a B yet. He's not quite with the Buddy Hields and Gary Harris. Next year, when Kyrie's gone and Kemba's there, JT, those two, JB and JT get to develop, he might bump up to a B-tier shooting guard. Maybe he'll go to the, 16, 17 plus points per game, and then he'll definitely be in the B-tier range. But as of right now, I don't see it. He does have all the talent and potential and defensive and offensive capabilities to be there one day. He's one of the most athletic guys on this list. But as of right now, he just ain't it. And then we do have Jordan Clarkson, who's kind of like one of the newer Lou Williams. I know Lou Williams is getting older. Jordan Clarkson's a pure six man off the bench, but he has been killing it. He's a C-tier shooting guard. I think he'll eventually get to that B range, kind of like a Lou Williams, just to come off the bench and give you like 16, 17 points plus a game, because that's kind of like what he was doing on the Cavs. He was definitely not in the 17-point plus range. I think more like about 13, 15 points per game, but he's definitely one of those guys who will come off the bench and produce very well for your team. Then we have Drew Holiday, who I really hope actually gets traded to a contending team. He deserves to win, bro. I know he's very loyal to New Orleans, but I think it might be time to move on. With that being said, man, he's getting older. He's not the same. He is a B tier. A few years ago, A tier, but he's kind of dropped off a little bit. I was going to put him into C. Maybe I will later when I make my edits before the end of the video. You guys will see all that. But as of right, I think I'm going to leave him at B tier. He's like a B minus, though he could end up in C when I do my edits. But as right now, I'll put him in a B. Then we have Joe Harris. Excuse me, Joe Harris. He's one of those guys, though, he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league. He doesn't really do much more than that, though. He's going to sit in the corner with Kyrie and Durant. Ooh, Joe Harris, baby. Come on, Kyrie, let's go. I hate Kyrie. And with that being said, though, he is a C-tier shooting guard. Not bad, because he's a really good shooter, but that's really all he does. Another guy who's a pure shooter, but one of the best at it, we got JJ Redick. JJ, you're a C-tier shooting guard, dude. I mean, all he does is shoot. I think I might move him down to D later in the video, but as of right now, I'll leave him at C. Then we have Jeremy Lamb, who I think is super underrated. He did just sign. I forget where he signed. He definitely left Charlotte. I forget where he signed, but I remember it was a really good signing. He's a C-tier, D-tier shooting guard. He'll get you buckets, but he's not the most consistent, not the most reliable NBA player, but he will give you some buckets, and he's solid. Then we have Josh Okogie. Josh Okogie's still super young, but he's F-tier, man. He hasn't really done much in this league. Like I said, he's still super young. You don't know where he'll get or where he'll be, but as of right now, F-tier shooting guard hasn't really hasn't really developed yet. I think he was like a rookie last year, if not last year, the year before. So he still has so much time to develop. He could become really solid, really great. As of right now, F tier shooting guard. Same on that F tier list is Kevin Huerter, but I think he has one of the most potential out of any of these young guys down here. Damian Dotson, Josh Okogie, and Kevin Huerter and Brendan Forbes. I think Kevin Huerter has one of the most potential because he's kind of like the next guy on our list. Him and Trae Young. Trae Young's the Steph Curry. Kevin Huerter's the next Klay Thompson. I've been saying this to my friends, but no, look, people look at me like I'm crazy. Speaking of Klay Thompson, he is a A-tier shooting guard. People think he just shoots. Incredible perimeter defender. He does not get the respect he deserves on that. The best shooter in the league besides Steph Curry. Him are super close. Yes, he just comes off screens, but he can do that little dribble to the side, pull up, create a little bit of space. Yes, he's not going to do like a Steph Curry and dribble in your mouth, pull up, but he is one of the best shooters, and he will create a shot pretty solidly. Not like a Steph, I know, but he needs more respect in his name. His defense is so underrated, but Klay, I'm giving it to you, brother. You are a fantastic perimeter defender, man. I was watching you. You're crazy. Sadly, he did get hurt, though, and we can't even watch him next year. Then we got Luka Doncic. That's a tough one. That's a super tough one, but he was a rookie last year. He has so much more to grow. I honestly, like, I think he's better than Dion Evan. Do I really want to? Yeah, he's going to B, man. Luka's going to B. It's crazy, man. He averaged like 19, almost 20 points a game last year. It's crazy. I put him on the same level of Buddy, Gary, Drew, and then Luka. I do it. I do it. Maybe not next year, but definitely the year after. He'll probably be in that A tier. Man, that's nuts, though. Honestly, that's nuts. And then we do have Lou Williams. Lou Williams is a tough one. Not really, though. No, he's a B tier. Even though he comes off the bench, he's a B tier. He got like 20-plus points a game off the bench. That's nutty. So I put Lou in B tier. Then we got Malcolm Brogdon, who actually signed with the Pacers. I kind of wish he stayed with the Bucks. I mean, not from a Celtics standpoint, but from an NBA team liking standpoint of like making sure the right fits. The Milwaukee was a perfect fit for him. They had the defense and solid scoring with Malcolm, then they had the defense and super offense with Giannis, and they had like the shooter with Brook. I thought it was a perfect fit. With that being said, though, I think he has more room to develop. He's not really anything crazy good, but he's a perfect fit in Milwaukee. I put him as a D tier. I might end up when I edit it, like I'm not edit, but like do my corrections or like revisions. That's a better word for it. He might end up in C tier, but right now D tier. Reggie Bullock's a tough one. Not really. He's F tier. He's never one of those. He's always one of those guys who ends up on a team. He got a pretty solid $20 million contract with the Knicks or something, but he never really developed into anything special. He'll shoot, he'll make it sometimes, but he's never really developed into anything like being like a solid, trustworthy shooting guard. Then we got Terrence Ferguson, who's super young. I think he's only 20, 21 years old. Has so much more room to develop. As of right now, though, he is an F-tier shooting guard. He'll definitely move up next year, though, with Westbrook most likely being gone. And like him being probably the starting shooting guard, he'll definitely develop more. He's a super high flyer. He's super athletic. That definitely helps him on the defensive side, which he had a fantastic defensive season last year. Offensively, he still has some room to grow. Not one of the best shooters at his position on the team, but he'll definitely have room to develop. I'm sure he's working on it as we speak. Then we have Wayne Ellington, who's one of the older players on this list, besides probably Lou Williams. But he's solid. I put him at a D tier. I get these are all the starting shooting guards, so I'm not sure. I guess he did start for Detroit. Detroit. Yeah, he's a solid shooting guard. Not amazing, not bad. Definitely not an F tier. All those F tier guys besides Reggie Bullock have room to develop, and they will develop. Reggie Bullock is just bad. That's why he's there. Then we have Zach LaVine. Man, I'm going to have to change some of these. But Zach LaVine, I put him at A tier. I'm definitely going to make some revisions to this list because as I look at it, we have a couple too many A tiers, and I think some of them might have to bump down. Some of the Bs might have to bump down. Some of the Cs. I'm going to make a few revisions, and I'll be right back with my final list. All right, so I made a few revisions that I think are just more accurate in my eyes after thinking about it for a few minutes. So we'll go through. We got at the A tier, we have, this is not in any order, by the way. Repeat, this is not in any order. Please keep that in mind. This is just by tier. We have Bradley Beal in 8. This is A tier. Bradley Beal, James Harden, CJ, Victor, Devin, and Klay. I think they all deserve to be A tier because they are the top players on their team besides, obviously, CJ and Klay. They're the top players on their teams. But even for CJ and Klay, they're one of the best at their position. I did have to bump down Zach LaVine and Donovan Mitchell This is why. Donovan Mitchell is still super young. I think he has so much more room to develop. So that's why I bumped him down to B tier. He's still a solid, fantastic shooting guard. But I think he has a lot more room to develop, and I think he can be even better, so I bumped him down. Same goes for Zach LaVine, so that's why I bumped those two down. And in the B tier with them, we have Buddy Hield, Luka, and Lou. Those guys are Buddy Hield and Lou are already, like, we know what they can do as shooting guards. Buddy Hield still has some room to develop, and Luka, super young, he'll be an A tier in the next couple of years. And then going down to C tier, I did have to bump down Gary Harris from B tier. I don't think he's quite a B tier player, but he's like a CC plus. He's so close, but he's not on the same level as any of those B tiers guys. Same with Jrue Holiday. I did have to bump him down from the B tier. He's not on the same level anymore. He's getting older, so I did have to bump him down. Sorry, Jrue. Much respect. And then with that, we got JB, Jaylen Brown, Jordan Clarkson, and Joe Harris. And then down in the D tier, we have Danny Green, Jeremy Lamb, Malcolm Brogdon, and I did bump down Dion Waiters, Evan Fournier, and JJ Redick. I bumped down Dion Waiters because super inconsistent. You never know what he'll do tonight, and I kind of factored that in because I factored all off talent, not achievements or accolades. So I definitely had to put that in with those two. So that same goes for Evan Fournier, and then JJ Redick. He's just getting older. He's not the same anymore. Has no defense. He's really out. Has no defensive purposes on the court. I mean, he's solid. Not really. He's the pure shooter. And I did Joe Harris and him are kind of the same place, but Joe Harris does have better defense. So that's why I have Joe Harris in C and JJ Redick at D. Shooting wise, though, definitely goes to JJ, even though Joe Harris did win the 3-point contest. I just have a bias. But anyways, I give the edge to Joe. And then the F tier, I did bump some guys down, like Damian Johnson, Wayne Ellington, Brendan Forbes, and sorry, I love you, Avery Bradley. So we got Josh Okogie, Kevin Huerter, Reggie Bullock, Terrence Ferguson. I did bump down Damian Johnson. He's still young, room to develop, but he's quite not on the same level as the D tier guys. Wayne Ellington's older. He's still a super solid player, but he's not a starting caliber shooting guard. He doesn't deserve to be on the same level as any of the D tier guys. Same goes for Brendan Forbes. Still super young though, has room to develop. And Avery Bradley is kind of falling off a cliff. Really, the talent isn't there. It used to be. Still a solid defender, but shooting has kind of fell off. And hopefully he can revise that on the Lakers. Anyways, hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm probably gonna come out with a rebuild either tomorrow, which will be Thursday, or Friday. I definitely want to keep making a few more as these teams get solidified. Anyways, hope you guys did enjoy this video, and like always, peace.